What's up, everyone? Welcome to a True Underground Story podcast. I'm the host, Timmy Burner. Today I'm with Benny the Jet. So, I know a little bit about you from my research. You're from Iowa, but you were actually born in LA before being adopted, correct?
Yep.
About what age did you get adopted?
I was adopted when I was a baby. So before the 1 years old, I moved to Iowa when I was four. But I used to be out in LA a lot when I was a child because I have family and stuff out there.
Um, Now, you're of Black and Puerto Rican descent.
Yep.
You were adopted into a white family. Now,
hmm
obviously, probably was it a bit of a culture shock when, like, you were that young to go from LA and how there's a big like Hispanic culture out there to the Midwest of Iowa where it's cornfields for days.
not really because I was so young.
Right.
Uh, so it really didn't affect me too much. Obviously, as I got older, I started connecting more with my roots and realizing how white it really was where I live. But definitely wasn't a culture shock. So no.
That's fair. That's what like when you told me you were one, I was like, well, I'll go ahead and ask, even though at that age, even at 4, you're not gonna really notice how different things are. How long have you been making music now?
About I want to say 5 or 6 years. Let's see, 6 years.
6 years?
Yeah, I did the math real quick.
Oh, you're good, man. um, so 6 years ago you started rapping. Have you always gone by the stage name of Benny the Jet?
Yeah. So actually, the name came originally from track when I was in middle school. Obviously, I'm Puerto Rican, and I ran a bunch, and I did like the 100 meter dash. So it was like a jet, and obviously, like my name is Ben, so they call me Benny the Jet. Some kids just kind of came up with it, and kind of been my name ever since.
I was to be an interview you had done on This Is 50, but I when you first reached out, I just assumed you were a huge like Sandlot fan.
Nah, I mean it was cool. I mean I never really had anything to do with Sandlot to be honest. It's just what other people called me.
So in 2021, you had a pretty big year stream wise. You had 161,000 streams. What was that moment like for you to hit that milestone?
It was really dope. Cause starting off making music, I always kind of felt like I was kind of counted out. And people didn't really take me seriously. So to have a lot of love and kind of grow that fan base was really cool. I kind of felt like I finally got my shine, my moment, and kind of got the respect I thought I deserved. And I've been working really hard for it for a long time, and it was just really cool. With that came a lot of work and traveling, and I was able to work with people who I looked up to when I was younger. And now I have connections with them. Now, like my idols are now my friends, so it's pretty cool. It's been really cool.
Yeah, because you got to go on tour with Futuristic, correct?
Yep.
What was that like? 'Cause, I mean, you guys have worked together on 2 tracks, and then you got to go on tour with them. So, what was that like for you as somebody who probably looked up to Futuristic?
It was really cool, I've listened to his music ever since I was a kid, and I was always a fan of him, and obviously I wanted to work with him. It was really cool to, go out and meet him. Well, I met him in 2019 when he performed in Iowa. I opened up for him. We basically sold out that show, and that's kind of where he saw, the work I was putting in from the get-go that I could, like, bring fans and really put in that work. Tour was really fun. We were supposed to go on tour in 2020 actually. It was gonna be me, him, Dizzy Wright, and Chris Webby, but then the pandemic happened and it didn't end up happening.
Yeah,
So, but it
2020,
was really cool.
2020 fucked up a lot of people's plans. Uh, so, how did you get the chance to get on the This Is 50 podcast, like interview thing? Because you also got to meet 50 Cent, like
hmm
around that same time period. How did
Yeah.
that all happen?
Um. So my guy who does my merch, Andre Wright, he's known DJ Thorough, who is the person who interviewed me on This Is
Yeah.
50. Known him for years. they're old heads, older black dudes who just have been in the industry, and uh, it was really cool because we had a meeting, and I was saying how I wanted to, I was about to go on tour, and at the time I was promoting the tour that didn't happen. Um, yeah, I think it was around that time. But anyways, I had a bunch of stuff going on at the time, and I was telling him how I would love to get on some radio stuff and put in that work. And he goes, "Well, I have a connection for you. I can call him right now." So while we were in that meeting about the merch, he literally called them up and said, "Yo, I have this artist playing at the Jet. It's my boy. He's out here in Iowa. He's making moves. You should get him on." So he goes, "Okay, can you do this date?" And we set a date, and I flew out there, and yeah. So shout out to Andre Wright for hooking that interview up.
Um, so obviously you said you listened to Futuristic a lot growing up, but who were some other artists and yeah, just artists in general that you kind of listened to growing up?
I listen to Michael Jackson a lot. I got him tatted right here.
Oh,
It's one
nice.
of my biggest inspirations. When I was a kid, I was the only child. I was raised an only child, so I spent a lot of my childhood just dancing and singing in front of the mirror, pretending I was performing to a crowd. Um, Childish Gambino. When I got older, I really liked Childish Gambino and just how quirky he was, and his rhyme schemes were dope. And I liked how he was an actor and was doing his stuff. Big fan of Community, the show he was on. Um, Tupac was another big one. Really resonated with Tupac just in the sense of how he's more than just an artist and kind of, all the shit he went through. And I just really respected him, and he's just such a legend. There's definitely other artists. Those are like the ones like on top of my head that I can name right now. I can go down a list, but I don't
Oh
want to
no,
take up
you're
too
good.
much
You're good,
time.
man. Um, what artist would you say kind of influenced your sound? Because I could hear a little bit of like Futuristic in you, but who were some other artists that you feel like influenced your style?
Definitely not Chance, sorry, Childish Gambino, and Kanye. Really big fan of Kanye. I don't know why I didn't mention him earlier. Kanye, Lil
Okay.
Wayne was another one. Love Wayne. He's a goat, like the goat. Yeah, a lot of my earlier stuff when I was starting off making music was more about like talking about partying and just turning it up because that's what I was doing at the time. Uh, and so I listened to artists like Kanye and Lil Wayne. Uh, and yeah, I talked a lot about like sex and stuff in my
Yeah,
songs, and definitely I don't know, I don't really think I sound like anybody besides myself. Obviously, there's influences there, but definitely I'd say Josh Gambino and Kanye were two big ones for me.
that's fair. I mean, the fact that you're the age you are and that you have an appreciation for guys like Kanye and Lil Wayne and Tupac, that's honestly surprising because I've interviewed multiple people around your age that they could give two fucks less about some shit Tupac did back in the 90s
Right.
because they felt resonate with like the different generations and stuff. But for you to actually like resonate and to feel influenced by guys like Kanye and Wayne is awesome. Um, what was it for you that 6 years ago that really made you want to start pursuing music?
Um, so I got my homie. His name's Novet. He's like a big brother to me. He's an artist that's from the Quad Cities in Iowa. He lives in Colorado now, but when I started working with him or hanging out with him, he lives in Iowa City, which is where I live. And I was always kind of a fan. I don't even remember how I found him, but his music was so dope. He's an amazing artist, and I was a fan initially, and started hanging out with him. Kind of got close with his squad, and he's an amazing lyricist, and he got a crazy flow, just like Kendrick, J. Cole, those kind of people. And I was at his house a lot, and he's always recording, and I was like, I kind of want to record. I've always wanted to do something in entertainment, and so he kind of recorded my first few songs, and I decided to like keep going with it. And I got like a lot of hate. I wasn't the best when I started off, but I think something about that kind of fueled me to keep going and to want to do it more because people said I couldn't do it or they didn't want to listen to me. So in my head, it was kind of just like an ego thing where I was like, well, I'm gonna make you listen to me type thing. And I've been putting in work, came a long way, but definitely being around people who I looked up to and who could really help me kind of navigate the scene and like teach me how to record, teach me how to double my vocals, all that kind of stuff really helped a lot. And I fell in love with the process. I fell in love with doing the shows, and I'm myself. I'm my best self when I'm performing, and I love performing in general, whether it's acting, rapping, whatever it is. I just love performing, and so it's kind of the lane I chose, and it started popping off for me around 2018, 2019, and so ever since then, it's just been nonstop.
So when you started making music, what did your parents and your friends think when obviously like Novent was supportive of it because he was
Hmm.
already an artist, but what did your other friends and your parents think when you decided you were going to try and make a career out of music?
They all wanted me to do acting. That's what I was gonna go to college for. That's what I was um, originally like. I was always an actor. Did like the plays, musicals, I did community theater, did some short films, some commercials, stuff like that. I was gonna go to school in New York to be an actor, but I don't know. They honestly, I didn't have a lot of support from my family starting off. Um, like my mom, she's always just kind of been like, whatever you like want to do, like you can do it. She never, discouraged me or anything like that. But I feel like they were definitely a little disappointed at first when I decided to go into a music career because a lot of people do music and don't make it. And
Yeah.
at the time, I was on SoundCloud, and it was, and I wasn't the best, but I just had the drive, had the passion for it. My first manager, he always told me, he was like, you need to be an actor, and I initially wanted to like kind of be like Will Smith and act and do the music thing. That was kind of like my career path that I was striving for. But obviously, the music stuff has taken over more in my life now that I'm older, and now I'm really on the move with that stuff. But the support from my friends, the ones who like listen to me and stuff, like it was just them because they liked me as a person. I don't think they really fucked with the music as
Right.
much. But so yeah, there really wasn't that much support just from my like inner family and like my inner circle, but they never discouraged me either. So
Um, so we've already talked about how you had the two tracks and toward futuristic. So you found Lex through Future's futuristic album.
yeah. So as I was saying, the first artist on that uh song is Michael Manelli, another artist that I've worked with. I toured with him as well on that tour with Futuristic. Um and I think it's the last verse is Lex. And so I'm listening to the song, like, oh yeah, this is dope, and then it gets to her verse, and I was like, who the fuck is this? She was spazzing, she was dope. Never really heard an artist like her come that hard on a track like that, and I was like, how did I not heard of her? So I was a fan from that moment on, and I went out to Arizona like that summer to go to Futuristic and Michael Manelli's EP release party, little show they did, and I was out there in Arizona. That's where Lex lived at the time, and so I just decided to reach out. I'd already gone live with her once on one of her lives. She was like doing a little contest, so I jumped on. And I kind of like met her on live briefly, uh, and so she kind of like knew who I was. So I hit her up in the DMs when I was out there, and I was like, "Yo, I'm going to this EP release party, this show. Do you want to come?" Just kind of like a shot in the dark, because I was already a fan. She's been doing her shit, but I figured I'd try. And she hit me back. She's like, "Well, I got to work tonight, but I'd love to go." She's like, "When are you going?" I told her when I was going, and so she ended up saying yeah, she wanted to go with me. So we went to the EP show together, and we just started talking about music, and told her I was a big fan. Just talked about how she and I are both in the game, talking about our shared experiences, our different experiences in the industry, and where we want to go. And the next day we were in the studio, and that's when we made "Paid," our first track together.
I was like, because you got two with her, correct? You got
Yeah, I
Paid and
got what you came for, which is also with Michael Manelli.
yeah. So, um, what's been one of like your favorite artists that you've gotten to work with? Because you've gotten to work with Lex, you've gotten to work with Michael Manelli, you've gotten to work with Futuristic and Aaron Cohen. You've done quite a few features. Who's probably been one of your favorite artists that you've got to personally work with?
Definitely Lex. They're all dope. Like I'll just say that they're all dope. They're all amazing artists. But definitely Lex because the process was just really really fun, and she's been a really like a real homie. A lot of these artists, they'll just get on the song and you can work with them, but it's kind of just like that level. But with her, she's been like a real support and just been like a genuine friend. And we've maintained that friendship ever since I first met her. And she's just very down to earth. And one thing about her is she doesn't always like up until recently when she started like really doing this stuff, like when I was working with her, she still kind of had that self doubt. I mean, she knew she was dope. She knows she was amazing, but she was still like, showing us tracks like, oh, I feel like it could be better, But like for me, I'm just like, you're fucking legit. I wish I could, rap like you. I wish I could have that flow. But no, she's just been such a great friend, a great artist to work with. They're all great, but Lex has definitely been the most fun out of the names you named to work with.
So if money wasn't like an issue and you could
Mm.
cop a feature from any mainstream artist, who would be that mainstream artist that you really want to work with?
Well, there's a few.
You can give me your
Ob-
top three.
Obviously Kanye. Kanye would be dope. I would love to get in the studio with Kanye. He's so that's Kanye. That's yay. You know. I would love to work with. Let me think. I think Blackberry would be dope. Um,
Oh
I
yeah.
think he'd be a lot of fun to work with. Um, yeah, and then probably Childish Gambino, just because like that's just like a childhood dream kind of thing, and he doesn't really make a lot of music anymore. So yeah, I guess right off the top of my head, that would be the ones that I would want to work with.
Um, as an artist, what would you say has probably been the hardest thing for you to in doing music? Like, what's like something that's just like been super hard on you throughout your music career?
Um, it definitely takes a toll on your mental health. Because when you're creating something and you put it out there, it's a very vulnerable thing to create a piece of art and then just be like, hey, listen to this, judge it, like it, hate it, whatever. And with that also comes a lot of envy with other artists, especially when you're in like a small town, and there's people trying to do the same things you're doing, and they're not necessarily on the same level, or they feel like they're not on the same level as you. Definitely, like there's definitely been times where I just felt very low, being an artist. Feeling like I'm not doing well enough. I could be doing more. So definitely the mental health aspect has been really hard. But at the same time, when you're doing something great and you believe in yourself, it's worth it. But there's definitely those times where I've gotten discouraged. But I also am very proud of myself to be where I am at the age that I'm at, and yeah, I would definitely say that's probably the biggest struggle that I've had to deal with being an artist.
To counter that, what would you say has probably been like something that you consider super rewarding to you in your music career?
Um, I mean, I just love the creative process. And it's really dope when you create a piece of art, like I said, uh, and people really fuck with it and they resonate with you. And I've had people that I don't even know from across the world in Germany, messaging me and telling me they really like my stuff. People say that like my songs help them get through hard times. And there's a lot of songs that like I don't even think are the best, but I put it out there and people like really have related to those songs. And so just like being able to get a voice out there and help other people, whether or not I knew that's what I was doing when I was creating that product or not, has been really, really rewarding. Obviously, it's a lot of fun to tour. It's a lot of fun to work with these artists that I was a fan of when I was young. Uh, but I would say just being able to reach people and you never know how far your music can go, and that's been really cool just to see. Especially the more I've been putting out tracks and the more I've been just hustling. It's been really cool just to see people really fuck with it and relate to me.
Um, so you've also you spoke on it a little bit before, but you did some acting and you're also a model.
I used to model. I'm not quite where I was, back in the day. So, I kind of let myself go a little bit. Got some money and started eating too good. But yeah, no, I haven't modeled for years, but I definitely I had a lot of fun doing that. And I haven't really done any acting for a while either.
So I ended up we ended up speaking because you had saw that I was interviewing your friend Posey. How did you and Posey link up?
I'm not even like 100% sure. I think maybe we had the same videographer or something like that. Um, I don't remember to be honest. Maybe someone I was following shared something of his, and so I was in the area. Um, I don't know. It was at the time where I met him. It was kind of like a time in my life where I was just always reaching out to different artists and collaborating. Um, so I'm not 1,000% sure how we met, but I love working with Posey. He's a dope artist. But yeah, I don't actually remember how we met. I think it was probably something like someone shared his thing or just told me about him.
Um, so how did you get a Kyle Massey shout out?
I'm friends with his mom on Facebook. I don't, I don't know. I don't know like how that happened. No idea. Honestly, I don't really know. It was a time where he was just kind of like going through some stuff in his own life, and I just kind of showed some love and sent him a message to his mom, and he gave me a shout out, and everyone was like, "Oh, did you like buy a cameo?" I was like, "No, like honestly, like I'm just friends with his mom," and he just like showed me some love, and yeah, it was dope. Super random. I don't really know what else to say other than I'm just friends with his mom on Facebook, and yeah. If anyone doesn't know, Kyle Massey is Corey from Corey in the House.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and That's So Raven.
Yeah. Yep.
So you also got to meet Echo.
hmm
How did you? How did that all happen? Did you just happen to be at one of his shows?
No. So I was out working with Futuristic on one of our tracks. I already kind of like knew about Echo because he's been popping on TikTok doing this thing. I think that's kind of how I first saw him was on TikTok or on Instagram. And I was out there with Futuristic, and I saw that Echo was like going to be touring and stuff, and I was like interested in like jumping on a tour. And also Futuristic's DJ, who's also Echo's DJ, Codebreak, good friend of mine, super dope dude. We hung out a bunch, and he was kind of managing Echo for a little bit. Um, anyways, I like reached out and I said I want to do some shows, and he hit me back with his dates and like which shows were asked me like what shows I could do. I was supposed to do a couple other shows, but there's like some conflicts with I think some other shows I had going on that paid better. But I definitely wanted to do at least one show with him, so I opened up for him in Chicago. It was just really dope. He's a great artist. Obviously, I'm good friends with like his DJ and stuff. Cobreak's my homie. Love that dude to death. So it's just kind of all they say it's not about what you know, it's about who you know. So it's just kind of the networking and networking with different artists kind of got me in the doors with different people.
Um, so I got a quick game here. It's called This or That. I'll present two artists to you, and you'll tell me which one you're going to pick to listen to.
All right,
Tory Lanez or Chris Brown?
Tory Lanez,
Bruno Mars or The Weeknd?
The Weeknd. That was hard.
Jay-Z or Nas?
Jay-Z,
Tupac or Biggie?
Tupac,
G-Unit or Slaughterhouse?
G-Unit,
Cardi B or Nicki Minaj?
Nicki Minaj,
XXXTentacion or Juice WRLD?
Juice WRLD.
Machine Gun Kelly or Kid Cudi?
Damn. uh, Kid Cudi. I don't know. That's hard. Just like, yeah, I'll just say Kid Cudi.
Kevin Gates or Joyner Lucas?
Joyner.
If you don't know the artist, you can also say pass. Lupe Fiasco or Wale?
Wale.
Wiz Khalifa or Young Thug?
Wiz Khalifa.
Nelly or Akon?
Akon.
Outkast or Wu-Tang?
It's a good one. Well, they're very different in their styles, I feel like. I'll say Wu-Tang.
Eminem or The Game?
Eminem.
50 Cent or Jadakiss?
50.
E40 or Twista?
E40.
The Lox or Dipset?
I don't really know much by the lock, so I'll have to say Dipset.
21 Savage or Kodak Black?
21. I think Kodak's kind of annoying. I think his voice is annoying. I'm not a huge fan of his voice.
Ab Soul or Schoolboy Q?
Schoolboy Q.
J. Cole or Kendrick Lamar?
Mm. Mm. uh, I have to say, I'm gonna pass on that one.
Fair. I'm gonna throw this one. Here's an old school. We got Mobb Deep or UGK?
Mobb Deep.
Pusha T or Kanye?
Ooh, Kanye. I've talked to Pusha though. Like I've actually talked to Pusha.
Oh, really?
Dope dude, but I never met Kanye, but Kanye's my dude. So
Lil Wayne or Drake?
Wayne.
Royce the 5'9" or Benny the Butcher?
Hmm. Royce is dope. Probably Royce.
Gucci Mane or Jeezy?
Gucci.
T.I. or Ludacris?
Ludacris.
Gunna or G Herbo?
Gunna.
Young Dolph or Nipsey Hussle?
Young who? What was that? Thought you broke up. What were the names?
Young Dolph or Nipsey Hussle?
Nipsey for sure.
Lil Durk or Lil Baby?
Lil Durk.
Da Baby or Polo G?
The baby.
Kalani or Summer Walker?
Kalani.
Last one I got for you. Hobson or Dizzy Wright?
Damn. That's bad. I have to go with Hobson. Man, I know Dizzy. I'm like an asshole.
You've been doing some like remixes of songs. I see you remixed Easy by The Game and
Mm-hmm.
Kanye. You did a remix to You're Welcome for Moana. What like made you want to do that? To start remixing videos?
Oh, I mean, just when I was younger. So like I said, my boy Novette. One of his big inspirations is Lil Wayne. Obviously, Lil Wayne did all the
Yeah, no ceilings.
yeah, the all that stuff. And then Novette, he did a bunch of remixes, and I don't know. I like remixes. I don't know. This is more for fun. Um, the Moana one, it was just more because I'm a Disney fan, and I've been wanting to do that for a while. And I was out in New York, and I was with the Broadway. The Broadway guy I know. Um, he jumped on that song, and he's never been in the studio like that before. And I just wanted to work with him. There's something fun. The one I did with Novette, the Easy remix, that I was out in Colorado on tour, and we wanted to make a song, and I was really vibing with that song at the time because it had just come out, and I was like, why don't we just remix this song real quick and put it on SoundCloud? Um, but yeah, I mean remixes are cool. It's not something I necessarily see much of myself doing in the future. But it's fun to do from time to time.
What's more important to you as an artist with your Spotify? Is it your monthly listeners or your followers?
Um, I mean, I have more monthly listeners than I do followers. I wish I could get my followers up. Working on that. But monthly listeners is dope. You can really kind of gauge how your tracks are doing by the monthly listeners. And yeah, probably monthly listeners, but definitely followers is something that I would, really love to work on more and get more followers on Spotify.
Now, we talked earlier, you went on tour with Futuristic and then you went and did a show with Echo. How many tours have you gotten to go on? I mean, because for somebody that's only been doing this for 6 years, the fact that you even went on a single tour is really impressive.
I mean, that was the first big scale tour I did. I've done kind of mini tours, but I wouldn't really count them. So only one. It would have been my second one if the other tour would have worked
Yeah.
out. But Only one at this point.
Make sure I'm not okay. So you have not released an album, correct?
No.
Do you have any plans on releasing an album?
Yeah, so I talked to this person who's potentially gonna be managing me, and we have a whole rollout that we're working on right now. Um, I'll probably say in the next couple of years I'll have an album out. The thing with the albums for me is someone told me one time you can only release your first album once, and I've never really felt like I had um I want it to be, if I'm going to put out a first album, I want it to be great. I want it to be like a classic, you know. If I were to die that next year, people can look back and be like, damn, he had a classic album. Um, but also, you know, it's just also me just feeling like I could do better. And yeah, and when I do my first album, I want to have like the features I want on that album. I want, you know, the production to be great. I want a Russian album. So that's my reasoning behind it. But I definitely have something in the works right now. We have a rollout that we're going to be working on the next 5 years. Really, we have a whole plan. You know, you're going to see some shit coming soon. So yeah.
Um, yeah, I've with talking with artists and stuff. I agree with what you were told of like you can only release your first album one time. There's a lot of artists in history that have released just a single album that they could have just called it quits after. Like, if Kanye West, in my opinion, would have just never dropped another album after College Dropout, that
Hmm.
would have been a classic and a hit for the rest of his life. But then he proceeded to make more classic albums.
Absolutely.
But like people like Lauryn Hill, she literally made one album and then did.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I see what you're saying, and I, from what I've talked to with other artists, singles are a better option right now, just because people's attention spans at the moment are a lot
Yep.
smaller. They don't digest albums like we used to.
Hmm.
So the fact that you have a 5-year layout is really smart.
Yeah, and just to, like go off of what you were saying, like with the attention span being what it is, you know, it's like you have to make songs a lot shorter than they used to be, and also with the album, like to get the listener or the consumer's attention, I want to have a budget where I can continuously with each song like do a music video for each song on the album. I want to, you know, give them a reason to tune in for the whole thing. I don't want to just be like, oh, the first track was dope and kind of just, you know, kind of, I don't want people to forget about it. I want to really be able to push it and promote it how I want to, and do a whole campaign for the album when I do drop an album.
So you're already pretty young, but you seem like you have a really strong work ethic when it comes to music. And I know a lot of artists, they tend to put a lot of songs in the vault without having to give a specific number. How many tracks would you say you have like in the vault for that you could just drop at any time?
I mean, I have a lot I could just drop, but I will never drop. I rough number probably like around 100, but it's just like like in my opinion, it's not the quality I want to put out.
Right.
You know, there's a reason it's not. I'm honestly pretty picky with what I drop. And there's a lot of songs I forgot about. I'll go to my Google Drive sometimes and be like, oh, I forgot about this one. Oh, I forgot about this one. Oh, this was a studio session I did in 2019. I forgot about. I had this person on the song. It's just, yeah, I have a lot of stuff that there's also a lot of songs I put out on SoundCloud and then just like took off. And that's in my vault as well. So yeah, I have a lot of unreleased stuff, but they'll never be dropped. I never want them to be dropped. But yeah, I got some other stuff in the works. But yeah, around like I'd say like 80 to 100.
So from the songs I've listened to of yours, you kind of like switch up your style sometimes.
Hmm.
What's like your favorite other style other than just rapping? Like, do you like doing like the melodic stuff? Do you like?
Yeah, yeah, I'm getting more into that. I wrote this little love song the other day. It's just a straight vibe, you know, kind of like a Bozzy feel, kind of like more. Yeah, I'm definitely trying to get more into that. Obviously, I love to spit on a track. That new song I dropped with Seekins, you know, that was me just being like, hey, I can still rap, and you know, I still, you know, I'm getting better all the time, but I don't really like creating that music as much as I used to. I really like the melodic sounds. I want to be able to, you know, have those hard hitting songs, those bangers, but also be able to go to, say like a brewery and just have a guitar and just like do some acoustic shit. You know, I don't want to be in a box. my background is not rap. It's very much like I was a singer, I was in choir, all that stuff. So I want to definitely showcase, that like that's beneficial
Right.
as well. So yeah, definitely like the more melodic stuff, like the I don't know if you call it alternative or whatever you want to call it, vibey stuff, kind of like more pop as well.
Yeah, like I noticed with like guys like Futuristic, I think he even made a video talking about it. Like he finally is at the point in his career where he feels like he can make the music that he enjoys making because you can
Hmm.
hear his music now and see how different it is from back when he was rapping in Compton dressed as the nerd.
Yeah.
So I think it's good that you're at where you're at and you're able to already identify like you like rapping, but you also want to experiment and do other things because you
Hmm.
enjoy making something different.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I know you're young, but if you could give advice to younger you or just a younger person wanting to pursue music, what would be some advice you'd want to give them?
Um, if it was like younger me, even like a year ago me, I would say just uh really, hmm, if I was giving advice to younger me, I would say really budget out, like really work on a budget more. It's dope to make money and you can like get lost in the sauce. But like really create a budget for yourself and make sure that you stay like on top of the business side of things. It's very easy to get lost in the whole industry and get all that hype and then feel, some type of way and kind of lose your money. To artists in general, I'd say don't be afraid to like do what you want to do, whether that's dropping a song or you want to work as an artist. Don't be afraid to reach out. Don't be don't be complacent. Don't and also don't feel like you have to do something because society tells you need to do something some type of way. Like there's a lot of artists out there that make millions and millions who you know aren't mainstream, aren't like Futuristic. Look at him. He's a multimillionaire, and yeah, I would say just don't be afraid to really put your all into something. It's a scary thing, and a lot of times we get too. I feel like comfort is a very bittersweet thing, and it can be really bad for you to be too comfortable. Or yeah, so just get out of your comfort zone and take those chances.
So I'd asked you if you were a sports fan because when I was doing my research, you own a fuck ton of jerseys while you're
Yeah.
wearing one. What is it? Just a fashion thing for you that you just really like the jersey look?
No, I mean like all my jerseys I have are all like people like basketball players I really fuck with, and they're dope. I'm like a big fan of like the old school. I mean, I'm a big fan of old school in general, whether it's sports or hip hop. I'm not even like that up to date on like recent sports, so that's why I was like, I'm not as big as a sports fan, just because
Right.
like I'm not really in tune with what's going on right now in the sports world. Um, but yeah, the jersey thing too. Like at the time, for one, like I really like the way like fit my body, and also another thing is I really couldn't afford to buy those jerseys when I was younger, and so it was also kind of a statement because jerseys are expensive, and
Yeah.
at the time it was just kind of like uh, I wanted to be able to, have something that I felt comfortable in and I felt I looked good in, and also like was kind of just for myself, and it kind of became a thing. I'm wearing this jersey now just because I got this one at Lollapalooza, which is a little Chi-Town jersey. I wore it when I opened up for Echo, but I forgot to put it on a jersey for the interview because that's kind of what I do.
Okay. Yeah, I was gonna say because I was taking note of the different ones you had. You had a Rodman, you had a
Hmm.
Jordan, you got a Vince Carter, you got
Yeah.
a Larry Bird,
Hmm.
James Harden, and Space Jam.
Yeah, I got my own. I got a custom Benny the Jet one that I wore in the Worth It video. It's a custom Bulls one.
That's fire. Um, what would be your idea of making it in the music industry?
Being financially stable, like not working 9 to 5 job, being able to travel, and also just like work with the artists I want to work with, make the content I want to make, and do shows how I want to do shows. I want to have the freedom to really create something that people can come to and just like have an amazing time. Kind of how like Michael Jackson or like Travis Scott, artists like that, who just have like these big theatrics. I want to be able to do stuff like that, to, like create an experience. I don't really care. Like, I obviously you would love to be at Drake's level. You'd love to be known as a legend, but that's not really making it. And for me personally, I don't feel like that would be me making it. Making it would just be being happy, being financially stable, and being able to create the content I want to make and create the product for people to consume at the rate I want to.
You're one of my favorite type of artists. Humble. It's not so much the glitz and glam. It's just the wanting to make music for a living without having to worry about finances and stuff, which is
Yeah, I
awesome.
appreciate that. Yeah, I appreciate that.
So, with speaking on music, like business wise, have have you put yourself like out there to Futuristic about trying to get on like his website for Indie Amplify?
I mean, I definitely could. Like it's actually really easy to apply to be on that. They have a whole application thing you can do. Um, I don't know. It'd be dope. It'd definitely be easy, but also like with that, they definitely take like a percentage of your cut. I'm pretty sure. I'm not really sure how that works. 1,000%. I haven't listened to it too much. But right now I've been independent. Basically my whole career. I've had a few different managers, but mostly independent. I have this new manager or this person who's most likely will be managing me, and yeah. So I guess I like having control over my money and being able to like get the whole thing. And if I need to split it, I can. But yeah.
So this is actually a question that I've never asked somebody. That I'm shocked that I haven't. What do you charge for features or hooks?
So right now I'm charging 300 for the verse, 350 for verse and hook. Yeah, that's my rate right now. Obviously, if I fuck with the artist or I fuck with the song, I'm willing to negotiate with their budget. I'm not a fucking asshole. I'll like obviously I need to get paid because I know my worth. But at
Right.
the same
Yeah.
time, I'm not gonna upcharge someone if I really think it's a value to both of us. And if it's an artist like I don't know, say Lex hit me up and say, hey, I want you on this track. I wouldn't be like, oh, I need 300, but yeah, let's do it. I'm very reasonable when it comes to that.
So my next two questions kind of tie in together. First, we'll start with what change do you want to see in your community, like there in Iowa City? Like, what's some stuff that you would like to see change in that area?
I want to see more artists come to Iowa, like more big artists. Because Iowa really isn't on the map when it comes to the industry, like at all. You go to a meeting with like Universal Records or something, and we are not on the map in their eyes at all. I'd really like to put Iowa in the map. Not even like just me personally. I would love for Iowa to also be a place that artists want to come and they know that they'll have a dope show. They'll have love out here. We've always kind of been a flyover state. Just a quick bag on the way to the next show. And I'd love to change that. And I'd love to, we have a giant college town. We're in the Big Ten and stuff. So it's like there's a lot of potential to make a lot of money here. I just kind of feel like we're overlooked in that aspect. So I'd love to just but also at the same time it's a very like Republican state, and but so there's like a lot of like just stereotypes when it comes to rap. When
Yeah.
you're in this community, but in Iowa, like in Iowa City, I'd say like definitely there's a huge market open for artists, not just rappers, not just like there's a lot of country people who are successful here, but there's a huge market for people like Black Bear or like Fozzy. And there's like a market for the rappers too. Um, yeah, I would just love to see more artists come here and do shows in this area.
So I was wrong. The second question did not tie into that. Back in I want to say it was 2020, you protested.
Hmm.
What like obviously I know what caused you to go protest, but what was it for you that you really felt like you needed to go out there and voice your statement?
I mean, honestly, a couple reasons. Obviously, I was horrified. I was pissed off. Like I felt like I was out there because I was pissed the fuck off. Like I was, how many Americans felt during that time. As someone who's like gone through profiling and has had the run-ins with the police and stuff, it hit close to home. And that, and also being someone who has a voice and has like has a platform, it's very important to go out there and give your voice and like lend your hand when you can, whether it's um good for you or not. Like if you, I don't know, I don't really know how to explain it in the best words, but basically, I feel like if you can help, you should help. And yeah, I'm not saying like I really did anything. Like I don't like it. I just really felt driven to do that, and yeah, it's a tough subject, but yeah, it was definitely something that I just felt very much I needed to do.
I mean, that's awesome, man. I'm all for artists and like athletes, like LeBron, like voicing your opinions because you're more than what your job is. You're more
Hmm.
than an artist. Athletes are more than athletes. And I feel like it's great when they take you or just anybody that has a platform speaks out against something as fucked up as the George Floyd and Breonna Taylor's and
Yeah.
all these people that don't get publicity. It's great. Um, so let's talk a little bit about your music here. We've got, we'll start in 2020. You did a song called Bulletproof.
Hmm.
What was the creative process behind that?
That one was a time in my life where there's just a lot of bullshit going on, and not even just in that time in my life when I dropped it, but like before, like when I wrote it, a lot of a lot of hate, a lot of people just I don't know, just kind of making me feel down, bringing me down, and that was just kind of me being like, nah, like I'm bulletproof. Like you can say what you want to say. I know the truth. I know who I am, and yeah, that was kind of that. Yeah.
And then you released Racks. What was the creative process behind Racks?
I just wanted to make a fun club song, song for the club. Really, is all that one was.
What about Worth It?
Worth It was about a person that I was, well, not just about that person, but kind of inspired by a person that I was in a relationship with, and not only her, but like just because I was raised by all women. My dad passed when I was young. My mom has I have a bunch of aunts. My grandma was they're very significant in my life, and I've just like my whole life I've been around like a lot of amazing women, and and a lot of songs nowadays, and I've taught I've called like in my songs like bitch blah blah, but like it's fun to like do that shit and like rap about that stuff, but honestly like there's just such a stereotype in rap, especially when it comes to women, and I just kind of wanted to make a song for them, like for the independent women, the ones who go out and they're grinding, the ones who are providing for themselves, their families, the single mothers, the ones that are just like independent and they don't need like they don't have a partner or anything like that. I feel like there's not enough songs appreciating them, and I've had a lot of women in my life who have been amazing powerhouses. I have women in my life right now who are so hardworking and I adore, and I'm so proud of, and I just want them to have songs for them as well, and they deserve to feel that empowerment. And yeah.
Then you did Back to Business with
Hmm.
Aaron Cohen. How did that process go since you had a feature on it? Like, how did that whole thing go down?
So at the time, that was before I really started like making like money, doing the shit I was doing, and I wasn't doing as many shows as I used to, and I was working a 9 to 5 job. I was a server. I was, fucking sucked, dude. I hated where I was, and I just was so motivated. Like every day, I was just writing between on my breaks between tables. I was constantly writing. I always had my headphones on. I would serve tables with my AirPods in, like listening to beats, listening to podcasts, all kinds of stuff, just kind of getting motivated. And I'm like, all right, I'm gonna save this money. I'm gonna get on this grind, and that's kind of where my mindset was with that one. I met Aaron Cohen back in like 2019 or something like that. He reached out to me actually, and said he wanted to work with me, and So with that song, he was an artist that I've been already kind of wanted to work with for a while. And that song really is like I'm back to business. Like that was my like I'm coming out of my not my shell, but coming out like this little hiatus I've been on. I'm back to business. I'm literally like what I talk about in the song, like like I come in so strong in the song. I got pussy on my breath. I got money on my mind. Like just straight up, just like no bullshit. This is like kind of just empowering myself. And yeah, so that was dope. And that kind of like that song really like was one of those first songs where I was like, yeah, this is the anthem. And that was the first music video I shot. Was like big music video I shot was that one in New York. It was released way later after the other ones, but that was the first one that we did. The first time we went to New York and worked with him. So it was dope. It was a dope process, and it was a really cool time in my life, and I really liked that song a lot because of my mindset at that time.
So we kind of already touched base on Paid, but with Got What You Came For with Michael Manelli and Lex Bratcher, how did that all like come together, like piece together a creative process?
So I told Michael Manelli when I was in the Arizona initially, before I even shot any of those videos, like the first time I met Lex, because it was like he was him and Futuristic, their EP release party. I was like, hey, I would love to have you on a track. Like, yeah, let's do it. Like, I appreciate you wanting me on your track. And I was like, all right, bet, cool. And so I was like, just kind of going through beats. Not a producer at the time, was making all my beats. And I was like, hey, bro, can you make me like the baby type beat? He sent me that one, and I was like, this is kind of cool. Like, kind of like little melodic, kind of Hispanic type vibe, whatever you want to say, Latin vibe. And I sent it to him, and I paid for the feature from him on the Amplify, um, and I'd already had Paid done. I already worked with Lex before, when he sent his vocals and stuff, because it was after I left Arizona and found like went through my archives and got that beat and sent it to him. And he was like, I don't really know, like I want to give you like an amazing hook. I want to do like a great job for you. He said, I don't know if I'm really vibing with this. Like, he said like another instrumental, and I hate to do that to you. I was like, yeah, for sure, I'll look. And then like a few hours later, he texted me. He was like, actually, I got it. I'm sending it right now. Sending me the shit. I'm like, this is fucking fire. Like he killed that shit. The hook is dope. Love that song. Love what he did on it. Um, and so I was out shooting the Worth It video, and I knew because Michael was out there because he doesn't live in Arizona, but he happened to be traveling out there at the same time I was out there. That's why he's in like my Worth It video. Like that day that he got to town, he literally came from the airport to the video shoot directly, and that's why he was in that video with me. And the next day we shot that video, and I still wasn't even completely done with my verse at the time. Or if you watch my vlogs, I'm still writing my verse like while we're out in Arizona. And like the day before we shot Worth It, I was at Lex's house, and Novette was supposed to be on the song originally, my boy Novette, but he didn't send his vocals back in time. So I was like, "Yo, Lex, like I got the song with Michael. I know you guys have worked together. I'd love to get you on this track." She's like, "Yeah, I'm with it." So I was at her house. We're kind of like vibing with it. I was kind of like did like a little rough recording of my verse, um, and just like enough to have enough for a music video that we were gonna shoot like a couple days later. Um, or maybe it was like in a 3 days time span, somewhere in those 3 days. And I left, went back to my resort. I woke up at like 9 a.m. or something like that, and I have a text from Lex, and she sent her vocals. And bro, when I heard those vocals, I woke up my boy. He was like, we were all staying together. And I'm like, yo, you gotta listen to this shit. And she went off. I love her voice on that shit. Lex is such an amazing artist. Like, blows my mind every time. And so then we shot the music video like that day or like the next day or something like that. And that's why like in the video, like I'm not rapping my whole verse. It's like a lot of cutscenes because I wasn't done with my verse yet. And I went back to Iowa, and I re-recorded my stuff because I only had that rough mix that I did at Lex's house. But it was enough to shoot a video for. And when you're in the moment and you have the people there, you're gonna utilize that time. And so I went back to Iowa, recorded my stuff, got it all mixed, and then months later, dropped the video and dropped the song.
And then this year you've released 3 songs so far. You've got Closer, Heartbreak Summer, and Mad City. Not Mad City, Mad. Jesus. Had Kendrick on my brain. So, what was the process like with Closer getting Kendrick, Futuristic on another track? Uh,
I just wanted another track with him. Honestly, it was a dope beat that like the same producer who did "Got You Came For," Worth It. Not Worth It. Sorry, he didn't do Worth It. He did Paid. Did Back to Business. Sent me a bunch of beats. Like this is a dope song. I'd love to get. And that one was specifically made for me and Futuristic. Like the one in like the title of the track is like Jet X Futuristic. That was like the name of the beat. So I was like, I know I want him on this track. So yeah, kind of just like made that. Got him on the song, put it out. I didn't really do too much. Too much with like I got it on like the radio and stuff. Yeah. Um, Heartbreak Summer. That was because I was still getting over a heartbreak, and that's how I was feeling in that moment. And I was just kind of it was more of a song for my. Actually, the story is so I was on the phone with my ex girlfriend, and she basically told me like to fuck off. And so I got up. I was upset. I wrote that song, and I called Posey. I'm like, yo, Posey, what are you doing today? I don't know, chilling. I'm like, I need to come over and record like right now. Came over, laid down those vocals, and he did an amazing job mixing it. Love that song. Posey killed that shit, and he was like, "I want to get on this song." I was like, "Nah, bro, this one's mine." But that was that one. That was definitely more me being vulnerable, and it's probably one of my favorite songs, just because it's very different than anything I've ever done. Mad was originally my boy Seekin's sorry, my boy
you're fine.
Seekin's song. But I was like, "Yo, this is dope. Can I have the song?" He's like, "Yeah." You know, he's like, "You got a bigger fan base, whatever." And yeah, I like that song a lot. That we worked on that song. We made that song a long time ago. I've been sitting on that one for a minute, but I was like, I want to put this one out. So yeah.
So, with Heartbreak Summer, how often do you like get to make music like that? That's like almost like therapy for you, to where it's therapeutic for you to get what you're feeling out on paper and then lay down vocals.
I'm definitely getting a lot better at it. Obviously, honestly, like in the beginning, it was me to try and like prove I can make music that was good. Now that I've proven it to myself, um, I'm getting a lot better at like really taking from life and kind of having those therapy sessions. If I'm feeling some type of way, if I am in love with someone, that it can be reflected in the song. If I'm hurt, it's reflected in the song. If I feel on top of the world, it's reflected in my music. But I'm definitely getting better at putting my feelings into my music more than just trying to create something that I think sounds dope.
So, I only got a couple more questions here for you. Is there anyone in Hollywood that has your eye, like a celebrity crush?
No, nah.
Right. And then the last thing I got is the floor is yours to plug anything you got going on, man.
All right, so let's see. I just shot this track called "Mad" with my boy Seekins. I really like that song. It's a banger. We both did our shit on that song. I got some shows in the works. Got one in October, Halloween weekend in Iowa City at Club Eden. I'm headlining that show. It's gonna be dope. It's October 29th, I think. I'll be posting about that soon. Um, yeah, that's only things I got in the works right now. Other than that, just check out my vlogs. Check out if you don't know who I am or you know who I am and you want to kind of see what I've been doing in the last couple of years, go to my reels on Instagram. I got a lot of stuff. I have made a lot of media content for you guys to follow and check out. Also, just like thank you to the supporters, everybody who tuned into this, who's watching, who might watch this later. Thank you guys. Means a lot to me. Shout out to all my homies. Shout out to Casey. Shout out to everyone. Like for real, Delaney. Like all my friends, my family, everyone who's been supporting me. Thank you. And I love you. And I couldn't do this interview without you guys. So
When this goes up on YouTube, because where you're watching it, all of Benny's links will be in the description below. His Spotify, his Apple, his Instagram, his Facebook page, his YouTube channel, make sure you tap in with him. He's going places, bright future. Look forward to see what the future brings for you.
Appreciate it, bro.
If you're ever in Ohio, reach out. I'll
Definitely.
put you on with some guys up here and some media companies up here that I'm friends with. But yeah, man, I appreciate you taking the time and coming on.
Yes, sir. Thank you, man. I really appreciate it, bro.
No problem,
Keep doing
man.
your shit, man. Keep putting on for the artists that are overlooked.
I'm trying, man. It's
We
a
need more
grind.
people like you. We need more people like you.
That's why I keep hearing. That's why I did this, man, because I've always had like a deep appreciation for underground hip hop. So something that I'll enjoy doing, and I enjoy hearing people's stories. But,
Well, I appreciate it, bro.
all
I'm about
right,
to sign
man.
off. I'm gonna get some water. My throat's dry. I
You're
love
good,
you,
man.
man. Have a good one.
You too. Take it easy.